motherfuckers! Today, he's got a pillow on his head.
Yep.
And
No.
that's what we're going to be talking about is pillows. So, I have this pillow up here. And my grandma made me this pillow, and I like it so much. I haven't seen it in forever, and I forgot I had it. But it's okay. It says, I woof you all over it. You know, like, a dog, like, woofs. But it's like, I woof you. And, like, the paw print's a heart. So, it's like, I love you, but, like, in dog language. So, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Don't do that.
He's a
I have the force. Can see things through. Whoa. I felt that one.
Whoa, what the heck?
I felt that one.
So yeah, we're gonna be talking, what's your favorite pillow?
I can think of one.
Which one? Wait a minute. That one? Do you sleep with that one just like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How comfortable is it on a scale of 1 to 10?
11.
11, eh?
Yep.
That's pretty sick.
Yep.
I got a power rating.
It's my favorite pillow. What?
What was that?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
This is how I normally am on the podcast.
It is. That's how. Go look at other episodes. It's actually how he is. What is happening?
Nothing. Don't. I am the pillow. The pillow is me. Don't you yet.
What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do there?
I'm gonna kill Santa Claus.
What? There's no way you're killing Santa Claus.
Yes, I will. Matter of fact, come Christmas time, you guys aren't gonna get any presents. No, I'm pointing at it. Okay. You guys aren't gonna get any presents.
Why?
Because I'm gonna kill Santa Claus. Don't do that.
Anyway, the topic is not pillows. The topic.
It's not?
No.
What?
That's next week.
Frick. What's the topic?
The topic is blankets. You're gonna break your mic.
No, I'm not. There we go. I'm ready. I'm ready for the topic. I'm so ready.
Okay. What's your first work story?
What? I think you mean to say blanket story.
Yeah, okay, what's your first blanket story?
One time. I don't got any blanket stories. Frick. Why did we pick this topic? This topic is stupid.
I don't know. You're the one who picked it.
I picked the pillow topic.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
What is wrong with you? What happened to you?
I don't know.
Did you just wake up?
I was following the topic.
You're right.
Are we doing blanket topic or no?
We're doing no.
What's the topic?
The topic is crazy work stories. You didn't know that?
I think I did know that.
I thought so.
I'm trying to make my mic move. Where'd the muffin go?
The muffin.
Where'd the thing go? I found it. Okay. Crazy work stories.
Yes. What, do you have one?
You go first. I
Okay.
definitely have some, but you go first.
Okay. First crazy story is work story. I guess it's not. This is. I don't necessarily have any crazy stories, but I'm just talking about work stories. But there's this one time I worked at Legends and
Legend Steakhouse.
Legends Steakhouse and whatnot. Fun fact: apparently they got bought out, which is crazy. Which I just told him the other day. Anyway.
Yep.
They had a dishwasher guy, right? He was a cool guy. He was kind of argumentative. He didn't like to necessarily take orders by people
Gotcha.
for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just kind of what he did. And so the general manager came to him and he told him to do something, and and long story short, or I guess not long story short, he told him to do something, and apparently he wasn't having it, and the general manager told him to stop being a baby, and he said to frick you, and he walked out, and he never came back.
That's actually crazy.
It was like a crazy argument.
That is a crazy work
like
story.
in the middle of the thing, and he just kicked him out.
One time, I was working at a pizza place. That was a crazy story, by the way.
It was.
It was just a guy who got kicked out because he wasn't
Yeah.
listening. I worked at a pizza place for a little while while I was moving around a lot in an RV with my family, and at the pizza.
What?
Why are you snickering over
I'm
there?
not snickering. I was
Why are you Milky Waying over there? Why are you
What?
Three Musketeers over there? Why are you Hershey's over there?
Snicker my bitter. Don't snicker my butterfinger.
Anyway.
It's such a bad one. It's Zabalava Gazalaba Kazabalarite.
He does it better than me. Anyway, I was working at a pizza. Ouch! Frick! I was stubbed my toe really hard. We just have blocks of wood sitting in the middle of the room, by the way.
For the mics.
For the mics, yes, the mics need blocks of wood sitting in the middle of the room. Anyway,
Yep.
I was working at a pizza place, and my friend who was also there working at the pizza place got on the phone with a guy, and he was like, "Hello, can I?" And he thought it sounded like his friend named Andrew, and he asked for a name, and the guy said his name was Andrew. So my coworker, his name is Ben, was like, "Oh, well, it's just Andrew." And so he takes his order, thinks it's his friend Andrew. Sounds like his friend Andrew. It's his name. You know, it's all going good. Finally, at the end of the order, the guy on the phone goes, "What time will the pizza be done?" And he, thinking it's his coworker Andrew, goes, "We'll get it to you when we get it to you," and hangs up the phone. And the guy on the phone was just like, not Andrew. It was just a different Andrew. And so he was like, "What? Why did this guy just tell me what? That was so rude. And why did he hang up on me?" And so that he goes to his mom, who he ordered the pizza for, and was like, "This guy on the phone was like so rude. I don't know why." I asked him when the pizza. I wasn't there for this conversation, but I assume this is what happened, because then this kid's mom who ordered the pizza posts on the Facebook page of like the restaurant that we worked at, saying like that had happened, like publicly. And
Wow.
when I tell you that Ben got, it was within like 20 minutes of that phone call. Ben got,
How?
I don't know.
20
My boss
minutes?
was like watching. He just like got a notification or something and like read it. He chewed Ben out. Oh my gosh, he was like yelling at him and cussing him out, bro. It was wild.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how you'd make that mistake. You'd think it was your friend, but like, that's such an unfortunate mistake to make. Genuinely.
It is. Did he not tell him that? I thought it was my friend.
Yeah, he did. He was like, "I thought it was Andrew," and he's like, "It wasn't Andrew."
I know that now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Boss.
No, he was just like, he's just like, kind of sitting there unhappily.
Was it like that? Like,
No, it was more like, just like, imagine like the most guilty and like shameful face you can make.
okay, got
And that's what he was doing. It's not guilty or shameful. That's high on ketamine.
it. Let me try again. Let me try again. What's that? So we're like,
This guy makes me look ridiculous.
it's kind of like this. A little bit like that.
I never look ridiculous, and this guy's making me look ridiculous. What?
A little bit like that.
No, absolutely nothing like that. Absolutely not even close to that.
Let me try one more time.
I don't think you get another try.
Anyway. Who are you looking at?
The wall. I don't know. The wall is more sensible than you.
That's not. That's rude. Anyway.
Well, the wall isn't rude.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He talks to me every night.
He talks to you every night?
Yes.
You talk to the walls?
Yes.
Who's in the walls?
The wall.
They're in the walls! They're in the gosh dang walls! This is chaos. Okay, tell a work story.
Work story. One time. This is a personal story that happened to me personally.
Really?
So.
Personally?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
I was the work story that people told.
You were the story.
I was
People
the
tell us about you.
Yes.
So you're just telling a story about that happened to you. About,
Exactly. But it was
yeah.
at work. It was work.
I know.
Anyway.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Anyway. So. Again at Legends. We had these 3 coworkers. I don't remember their names. It was Keith, somebody, and Shaquila, something like that. I don't remember. But there was 3 people, and we were supposed to be on prep for the morning, for lunch or whatever, and we did all the prep or whatever, and somebody marked off something, but we didn't do it, and Ryan got super mad.
Oh, dang.
Which is the manager. General manager? General manager. The other guy was the regional manager.
Oh.
The guy who fired the other guy. Ryan is the general manager. Anyway, he was looking through. He asked one of us for a thing. It was the tartar sauce, not tartar sauce, coleslaw. It was coleslaw dressing.
Oh, yeah.
It was the coleslaw dressing that you make to mix in the cabbage or whatever, and you make the coleslaw. Somebody marked that off as being done, and it wasn't. And Ryan asked one of us where it was, and I was like, he asked me, and he was like, I don't know. I don't know where it was. I had nothing. I don't know anything happened. He went around and asked everybody, not everybody in the whole restaurant, but us 4 who were prepping. And he's like, so nobody knows what happened to the dressing. And we're like, we have no idea. Well, somebody read it off and told us that we did it, but we didn't do it. He's like, we have no idea who it is. He's like, okay, well, somebody needs to tell me who this is right now, because I take this as a direct insult to me. And we were all like,
That's crazy.
I was trying not to laugh, because I laugh people get mad. I don't know if you know that. I'm pretty sure you do. I think I've told you.
Yeah, you told me that.
Not like as in like how they're mad, as in just like, I don't know, it's just like.
Well, you do have a tendency to like take serious situations and just laugh in the middle of them. So like, it can be infuriating when someone is angry and you're just like.
And I get it. I didn't laugh though. I'm pretty sure I didn't laugh, and I try not to. But
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Because I think what comes from it is when people get mad, they tend to say stuff that is just like silly, because they're trying to think of it, they're trying to just say it quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I take this as a direct insult to me, so now I'm gonna have you go expo, and I'm gonna have to figure out I'm gonna have to look through the cameras and figure out who did this. So he went through the cameras, he didn't find anybody. He was like, okay, whoever I find out who did this is getting fired, I think is what he said. And we're like, nobody knows what happened. So I don't know who did it. I think it was one of the girls. I don't know.
Did she get fired?
I don't know. I don't know if he ever figured out who it was actually.
Dang.
Because the camera, when he looked at the cameras, that you couldn't see it. You couldn't figure out. You couldn't see who actually did it off. But he came and he told me to make it, and I was like, okay. I mean, it was kind of dumb because I was like, why did I get the one picked out? But it doesn't really matter. I was making,
Probably because you were laughing.
I wasn't laughing. I didn't. I think he just chose me because he had to have the 2 girls through the window. The other guy was more experienced than I was, so he just took me.
Gotcha.
That makes more sense that way. Anyway, so I had to make this, right? You know those big bus tubs? Like the big plastic totes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, to make it, you have to, first of all, you don't have to use that. You have to use the mixing bowl. And we needed the biggest portion. We needed a large. Well, I didn't know we needed a large. So I made just a small so I can make it fast and get done with it, because I didn't want to do it and I wanted to do food order, which is funner. Which makes sense. But so I did the smallest batch. And he said, "What size are you making?" And I said large. And I said small. He's like, "I need you to make a large one." And I was like, "Okay." So I started making a large one. And I was like, "What if I just make the large one in the small one and make an extra large one?" So I did that. I put it in the mixing bowl. I mixed it all up, and I'm like, "This is a lot. I'm not gonna be able to put this in the mixer."
Yeah.
So you have to mix it for like a little bit, because you have to have all the sugar and stuff dissolve. and you have to whisk it by hand. You have to sit there for like 15, 20 minutes to whisk
Yeah.
it all. So I put it in this giant mixer thing, or I had it in the mixing bowl, and I asked one of the guys that walked by who worked there for a long time. I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you think this is gonna fit in here without spilling everywhere?" He was like, "Yeah, you'll be fine." I asked him before I started making the whole
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." It wasn't fine. It was
Gotcha.
way too much stuff to put in there. So I tried it. I'm like, "This is not gonna work. It's just gonna go everywhere." So I took it out and I put it in the bus tub. It basically filled the bus tub up, and I had to sit there and mix it for 15, 20 minutes.
Dang.
And get all the sugar down. So I am pouring it into these 1-gallon little, like the commercial mayonnaise things, or like the 1-gallon tubs with the big plastic lid on top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those. I had to fill it into like 4 or 5 of those. And while I was filling one, when I got them all filled up, I dropped one, and I spilled a gallon of stuff. I had to clean it up, and then they were all messy when you put it in there because it's not like exactly. So I had to go wash one off, and I washed one off, and then I spilled another one.
Oh my gosh.
So I spilled like 2 gallons of this dressing all over the place, and it was crazy. And then that was pretty much it. Kind of a big build up to a small smoke.
Interesting.
But I basically spilled a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was really dumb.
That is kind of dumb.
The second time I spilled it all over me too.
Yeah.
It was like all over my clothes and all over my pants.
Yeah.
So I had to
I feel like, yeah, that just kind of sucks. It's like a bad day at work where you just like keep messing up.
Yeah.
I hate those. Yeah. I had when I first started working at McDonald's, there was this manager there. I think I've probably told you about this. There was a manager there. Her name, I'm just going to say it because there's physically no way for people to track her down at all. Like, there's no way. Her name was Ashley, and she was, I'm going to say nobody really liked her because she was very nitpicky. She was very micromanaging, and she was not fair at all. And she had like favorites. Anyway, she hated me. And I don't know why she hated me. I honestly, when I first started working there, I didn't expect her to hate me because I was like a 14-year-old naive kid who thought that nobody would cuss in the kitchen. And I thought nobody would cuss because there was a rule that said like you're not allowed to cuss in the kitchen. Everybody cussed, including the managers. Which is valid, like not like valid, which is like normal for the food industry. Like,
Yeah.
It's just normal. But anyway, yeah, I get there and she was like kind of like rude-ish and would like give me looks all the time and like get after me about stupid stuff, be micromanaging. And I was 14 and I thought that I was the problem, and I was like, and then after a while I started being like, maybe she just doesn't like me specifically. Maybe I'm just overthinking this because like she keeps getting after me, but like I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I feel like I'm doing a good job, and I feel like she's getting after me for no reason.
Fair enough.
And then one time, most of what I did at McDonald's was working on front of house / headset for the drive-thru because they liked my customer service skills, I guess, as a 14-year-old.
Fair enough.
But I guess just because I could speak in coherent sentences, I was easy to hear over the mic, and I was nice, and I didn't sound like I wanted to kill myself. Dude, you would be surprised. Dude, almost all of them. Some of them were good, I will say. There were a couple that were good, but I was one of the few that was good, and that was just because I didn't talk like in mumbles, and I enunciated correctly. I didn't mumble.
I do that.
I spoke loudly enough that you could hear me over the mic. You know when you pull up to a drive-thru and they're like, "Oh, McDonald's gonna get your order,"
Yeah.
and you can't really. Yeah, I wasn't like that, and that's how everybody else was. And I was kind of like, I kind of want to see what it's like to work on grill, which was really stupid because front of house is what you want to work at McDonald's.
Why?
Grill sucks. Grill's way more stressful. It's always hot back there. Constantly moving. You get yelled at way more. Front of house is way more chill. You just take orders and put stuff in. And I was like, I kind of want to try grill. And they're like, no, you're not going on a grill. You're staying at front of house. They wouldn't let me go on a grill. I was like, okay. Anyway, got way sidetracked. But I feel like the McDonald's was not as bad as it could have been. But there was this one manager, Ashley, and she was kind of rude to me sometimes. But the one time that I actually was like sure that she didn't like me specifically is one time I'm working, normally working front of house, but this time I was working second counter and presentation. So I had a second like POS thing, point of service, like order taking tablet with a headset, and I was doing presentation. So I was taking orders in this on the headset, and I was giving people their food because we were like short staffed that day. But McDonald's has this weird, stupid thing where anytime you either take something off, like a customer says, "I want a double quarter pounder with cheese," hit the button. What do you want on that? Add whatever, you know. Do you want that as a meal or just a sandwich? Yada yada yada. It's been a while since I worked there. Anyway,
Sandwich.
they say just a sandwich, and then they're like, "I want a 10-piece nugget." Okay, great. You want any sauce with that?
Is
Yes.
that how you said? Okay, great.
Well, I didn't say it.
Great.
You know, it wasn't 11:41 p.m. when I was doing these, so I wasn't as like tired as I am now. But I would be more like customer servicey. Anyway, then after I put the 10-piece nugget on there, they're like, "Actually, I don't want the double quarter pounder with cheese. I just want a McChicken." To take that double quarter pounder with cheese off of that, I'd have to get a manager to come over and type in their little pin.
What?
It was the stupidest thing ever.
Bro, what?
Right?
That's
To
so
to
dumb.
retract an item from an order, from a live order that you haven't put through yet.
So dumb.
If you wanted to, obviously discounts and stuff, you had to have a manager come over.
Sentence more than
Yeah.
anything else.
There was like the dumbest little things. There were, discounts. If your order was over a certain amount, you had to have the manager come over and pay for it. If it was over, I think, $50, you had to have the manager come over and type in their little pin for you to approve the order.
Did you ever ask?
What? Because they don't want, because like people will apparently like put in like massive orders, and then the manager has to, I don't know. They had stupid rules. But anyway, that ended up with me a lot of the time having to say, "Hey, can you come over and put in your pin?" And Ashley was the manager that was near me, and she was like just fed up with me that day. I hadn't done anything, but she was just not in a good mood. And I was like, "Hey, Ashley," and she like turned around and went, "Don't talk to me." It's like at my face. And I was like, I need your pin for the machine. I have to change something on an order." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then came over and entered her pin. And I was like scared. I was like, what did I do? But she was just like rude. I don't even know. And she never did that to anybody else. It was just me. And I was like just this 14-year-old kid who was trying to be good at McDonald's. And it was so sad.
It's such a sad truth.
I feel like I didn't hate that job as some people who say that they hate working at McDonald's did, though.
Such a sad.
You know, it could have been worse.
Such a sad.
I actually went to that
That's
McDonald's.
tears, actually.
What?
These are. It's not even. Not laughing. I'm crying for you. It's. So,
Don't cry.
it's so,
It's not a sad
I
story.
won't. Don't worry. I'm trying my best not to cry.
I can tell.
Okay.
No, but I went to that McDonald's last night, and it was last. Yeah, it was last night after I went to the gym. Wait, was that last night or Tuesday?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. It was Tuesday. I went to the gym on Tuesday, and when I came out the gym, I was like, McDonald's is right there. And it's really stupid to get fast food after you go to the gym. But also, I haven't had McDonald's in so long, and I'm really hungry. I hadn't had dinner, so I was like,
I want to try their chicken tenders. They have chicken tenders now.
yeah, I did see those. I didn't get them. I think I got like a quarter pounder, and it was too big for me. That's one thing I've noticed.
Big for you.
I haven't eaten like fast food in large quantities. I couldn't finish the burger. That's
weird.
something that has never happened to me before. I got a double quarter pounder with cheese, and I couldn't finish it. I ate like half of it, and I couldn't finish it.
Why can you not finish it?
I don't know. I physically
Maybe
could.
it's just 'cause you
I
were
was-
after you worked out.
Maybe, but I was hungry, and I just felt full, and I didn't want to eat anymore.
Maybe you were more thirsty than hungry.
Oh, well, I did get a shake with it,
You did.
and I was not really thirsty because I drank water at the gym. I don't even know. But anyway, I went there, and when I went in to order the food, the smell of it was like nostalgic for me. Because I used to work there.
Yeah,
Like,
McDonald's has that smell. though.
McDonald's has like a smell. It doesn't stink, unless you work there for like a really long time, and then it starts to stink a little bit. But it also just like the fries smell and like all the food cooking. It like has its own smell, and I smelled it when I walked in there, and I was like, oh, this reminds me when I used to work here, bro. And I like they kind of remodeled a bit, so it was like different but also the same. It was a vibe. And I went and I saw a manager there who worked there while I was working there when I was 14.
That's crazy.
So that same lady has been there for.
The same girl?
Huh?
The same person you were talking about?
No. I hope she got fired. She didn't work there after I left. Around the time that I left, she had stopped working there, I think. Whether she quit or got fired or whatever. But she was rude to everybody and would get after people about the dumbest things, and she was not a fun person to work with. But the lady I saw was always really nice, and she has probably been working there for the last 5 years because I was 14 and now I'm 19. So
Yeah.
I've seen her a couple times in the past that I've gone to that same McDonald's too, and it was weird. Like I walked in, and it was like pretty much empty because nobody was there, and I like saw her, and she looked at me, and like we made eye contact, and I didn't know if she recognized me or not because I recognized her, and she like looked at me and was like, "Can someone get his order?" And I was like, "Oh no." Thought she was gonna be like, "You're back. Are you gonna start working here again?" And I was gonna be like, "No."
Did you like
I
her?
make what?
Did you like
She was old.
Not liked her, but like liked her.
Yeah, she was super nice. She was always super nice.
What? She's old.
Yeah, when you ask that question, there's a connotation of do you romantically like her?
Fair enough.
But she was chill. She was always super nice. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. W boss. I forget what her name was.
W boss.
I think it was like Tina or something.
Tina.
No, Tina might be someone else. There was one lady I used to work with at McDonald's that goes to Connect Church now.
Connect Church.
Mm-hmm. Not Connect Church. That's my old church. The Well.
She goes to Well now.
Yeah. She's there. I forget her name too.
What's she
It's been a while. She's like like skinnier, like blondish brown, like it's sandy hair. I don't know, but I used to work with her, and she was always super nice. I don't know if she works there anymore. Older. But yeah.
Well,
I had some crazy stories from McDonald's. Your turn.
work stories. I'll tell two because they're kind of short. I don't have any like crazy stories. But there was this one time where the manager at Legends, she was super rude and she was super mean.
Dang.
And she was not a good person to work for, and she sucked, and she was bad, and she's everything. She'd pick favorites. She'd pick.
Why is there? Is one of the mics buzzing? Look at that. My mic should not be buzzing.
Probably that sound.
Why is your mic not here? 1 second.
Because mine has noise gate on it.
I guess. Well, technically, we just swapped the mics. All right. Does this still work? Yeah, it does. Cool.
Perfect. Okay. The manager's super bad. She's not great, which sucks because I don't know. But she would like pick favorites of like younger, like hipper girls because that's like what she wanted to be. Like she was like an old lady ish, and it was kind of sad. But she was doing the expo, which I don't know if you know what expo is. Expedizing, like if you get.
Oh, is where you.
Yes. Okay. She was doing that because apparently they couldn't trust me, even though I was better than her. She was doing that, and she was also eating at the same time. But when she would eat, she would like grab the food with her fingers, and then she'd eat like a little kid. So she put like her whole hand in her mouth and eat, and then she'd expo with no glove on. So it was pretty crazy. She would do that like I don't know. I saw her do that multiple times, and it was like, oh, how could you? I don't know. I think I really only saw her once, but I'm sure she did it more.
That is pretty gross, honestly.
And then there was one time where Alan, the regional manager, yelled at one of the employees because he couldn't hear him because he had a headphone in. It was Connor,
Yeah.
Doug's son. It doesn't really matter who it was, but he was back there and he was cooking, and Alan needed something, and he asked him, and he couldn't hear him. So then he like full on like yelled his name, like to the top of his lungs. He was like, Connor! And he looked at him and he's like,
Dang.
take your headphone out right now. You gotta have him on the line. And he's like, okay. And Connor's like super like chill and like not like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just like, I don't know. He's like Seth. Like if Seth was like this much more mature, but this much more.
Haven't I met
at the
Connor?
Same time. I don't know. Have you?
Didn't I come with you to help move stuff with them?
That's Cooper.
Cooper, not Connor. Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much that.
Dang.
Those are my 2 stories.
There's people getting yelled at, man.
I know.
Getting yelled at.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I think I think I saw somebody, one of the cooks. I could be wrong, but I think I saw him drop a steak and then pick it up and put it back on the grill.
What?
But I really don't know.
Dude, don't go to Legends, bro.
It could have just been like a nod up. It could have been just not what I saw.
That's insane, though.
He could have like burned his hand and like bent down and then picked up the steak. I don't know. It seemed like he dropped it, but I could be wrong.
That's crazy.
Maybe I can ask him. He's the same guy who works there at the new place. Maybe I could ask him.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the trampoline park I worked at. There's so many crazy stories I can tell about the trampoline park, bro. Amazing place.
I wish I had more.
The maintenance guys were really cool, and I helped them out a little bit. One time, there was water pouring out from behind the bathrooms onto the floor, and the bathrooms are like basically, before it was a trampoline park, it was a tennis gym, and so it was just this big open warehouse. Yeah, tennis gym.
Just like
An indoor tennis gym. It was like an indoor building, big warehouse building with 4 tennis courts basically inside it. That's how big it is. And we converted it. I wasn't there, but they converted it into a trampoline park. Yeah. And the bathrooms that they built in are basically, since it was just a big open like rectangular building, they just built the bathrooms as like its own little partition. So you can go behind the bathrooms. It's not fully connected to that back wall. And there's like a little space in between there. And that's where all the plumbing is for the bathroom. Cool. And water was spraying out of there and like onto the floor. There, we had so many water problems there when it would like get rainy and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, at some point, there's just water leaking out onto the floor. And we're like, what the heck? Why is it leaking? And we can hear like water like behind the wall. And so me and the maintenance guys are like pulling ladders over there and like climbing up to look on the roof, and finally we get up there and we look behind where the back of the bathroom wall meets the edge, like the wall of the entire building, and there's like a pipe down there, like a little pipe, and it's just spraying out water. And we were like, what? This sucks. Neither of the maintenance guys could get back there because number one, they're older, number two, they're not as like skinny enough to get down there, but I could. So I basically just climbed up and over and down and like between like these like steel girders that were holding up like the rooms, and like climbed down there and basically just fixed the pipe like an actual plumber. It was pretty cool. Like the pipe was broken. It wasn't that crazy of a fix. It was basically
was it that Snapchat you sent me that one time with the copper pipe?
Yeah.
I thought it was your dad's house. I thought it was at your house.
Huh?
Could be wrong. Dang.
Maybe we're thinking of different things, but
Yeah,
it was literally the pipe was like had come disconnected. It was like a rubber piece that had come disconnected, and those little metal things that you wrap around and then like screw in to hold it. I forget exactly what the name for them is. You would know if you do plumbing, but
metal things you wrap around.
it's like a holder that you put. You have a pipe and you have a pipe that goes over it. That's maybe like rubber or something, and then you put a metal ring around it that you tighten to cinch that and like hold it tight. That thing had completely come off, and water was just spraying out. And so basically, I just took that old one off, stuck it back on there, put the new one on, which one of the maintenance guys stayed on the phone with me while I did it, like on FaceTime, and I showed him like what I was doing the whole time, but I honestly could have done that by myself. It was really easy. Like that was probably one of the easiest plumbing fixes you could have had the problem of. It was like yeah, the water sucked and everything, like having that everywhere, but like it had literally the piece came on disconnected, and I just had to stick it back together, put the thing around it, and twist it back. But yeah, that was really cool. Um, one of my first days there, I got a taste of how crazy little kids can be.
First day there.
It was like my first couple days there, and I was walking up from the arcade area to the trampoline area, and there were these little girls that were like running around and being stupid little 9-year-olds. And okay, you'll see why it's harsh, right? So these stupid little 9-year-old girls are running around, and I was like, whatever. They're allowed to be 9-year-olds at a trampoline park. I don't care. And as I'm walking up to jump, they run past me, and one of the girls, oh my gosh, it hurts. She like runs right in front of me, and she goes, "You want some of this?" and starts shaking her butt at me. And I just was like stunned. I didn't know what to do. And I just like turned around and walked the opposite direction and was like, not even dealing. 17? 17, yeah.
Illegal. Kidding.
It's literally 8 years. It's literally 8 years. It's like almost double the age of this child.
Wait, what? Almost double? It's not even. It's 1 year off.
Yeah, I'm saying it's almost double. What? She was 9. I was 17.
Yeah, I was thinking different. No.
This guy's math is not mathing.
You said that's almost. You said 8.
I said I'm almost double her age.
You said that's.
If I was 18, I'd be double her age.
You said that's almost double. No.
Yeah.
If she was 19, you'd double.
No, she's 9. 9 times 2 is 18.
Wait. Okay, let's skip math.
Are you good?
Let's skip math. Is that all your story? I can't math.
Sure, that's all my story. We'll go with that.
Okay. I had. Don't make fun of me.
We're done with that story. We're not even gonna finish it. Go ahead.
They didn't even finish it. That was it. Was that even it?
I mean, there's a little bit more.
Where'd it go?
Okay. Basically, I walked away and I told my manager about it, and she went and was like, "You guys do not treat my employees like that." And they were all like, my Morgan.
Okay.
I realized I just gave her like such a weird voice. You guys do not treat my employees like that. No, she kind of told him off, which was such a W, because I was not used to having to deal with children that I had to yell at. So, yeah, that was a weird experience. It's like, what the frick? What do I do? Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing happened to me one time. This is not a work story, but it kind of relates to something you said. I was we were skating this one time at the skate park, and this girl, I don't know how old she was, but she seemed smaller, younger, but I was also younger at the same time. She was like, you know how like you have the skating ring, and then you have like the wall type of thing you can like lean on, or like
On the outside of the skating rink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a girl up against that, and she like waved me over, and I came over to her, and she's trying to give me a kiss, and I skated away.
Teenagers.
I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was weird.
Oh, I got a crazy work story.
I flew away. Yeah, I flew away.
You just flew away on your little roller skates. Your duck on your head carried you away.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was short. I have one more.
Oh, go for it.
This was really short. One time, me and Cameron, Cameron, the guy who
Yeah.
was the youth. Anyway, me and him, his mom opened up a store, closed now sadly, but his mom opened up a store, and I used to work there. And one time we had the opportunity to go down to the basement and like look around a little bit. So we did, and we found the original newspapers from when Mike Tyson bit off Miss Holyfart, Mr.
Whatever.
Holyfart, what? Holyfart. When he bit off the
guy's ear.
The guy's ear, and then like the picture of his license being revoked and whatnot.
That's insane.
That was cool.
That's cool.
I have it somewhere. I just don't know where. It might be up there or in the closet.
Dang.
But we still have it, and it was cool.
That's a cool thing to have.
No way.
The actual original newspaper. That's so cool.
Of Mike Tyson's biting.
That is pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was sick. That's mine.
Cool. Another work story from the trampoline park. I've told you this, I think, before. Anyway, I was at work, and so I was 17 and then 18 while I was working at the trampoline park. And a lot of the people who come to trampoline parks are teenage girls. And so I would get flirted at a lot just because they were teenage girls and I was a teenage guy, right? But anyway, there was one time where I was up at the register and this group of 4 or 5 teenage girls come in, and they're all they all look around my age, and there's a little bit of a line, but they get to the front of the line and I'm dealing with them, and basically as I'm checking them out, checking them in, as I'm checking them in, getting their wristbands, not checking them out like a weirdo, as I'm getting them signed in to go jump at the trampoline park, one of them, they're all giggling and acting weird, and my thought process is always, when a girl's acting weird and she's acting like she's being flirty, my first reaction is not to go, she's flirting with me, dude, I should riz her up. No, my first reaction is, no, she's not flirting with me, I'm overthinking this. No, it's just a girl and my brain is being weird, right? I always deny it until it's obvious. And it was pretty obvious and I was still denying it. And I was like, nah, there's no way. And she comes up to the counter, and as I'm getting her checked in, she's like, how old are you? I was like, 17. She's like, you act like it. I was like,
what? Thank you.
Okay. And I was there and I was like, why are these, what? And they kept being looking at me and laughing, and I was taking that. They were looking at me and laughing because they were being stinking flirty 17-year-old girls.
Stinking flirty 17-year-old.
And I was taking it as they were looking at me and laughing at me because they were being mean. And I was like, why are they just laughing at me? I felt so self-conscious. I was like, is my hair messed up? What is going on right now? No. Anyway, they get checked in, whatever. They go about their business. And then finally, we are closing up the factory at the end of the night. Everybody's gone out of the building. And as I am in the back of the factory, what was I doing? Yeah, I was getting everything closed down, turning off the lights. We were ready to go. And I walk up to the front. And as I'm walking up to the front, my siblings and another coworker come running up to me, and they're like, James, it's the girls from earlier. They're up at the front. They want you to come up and say goodbye to them. And I was like,
he was a manager at this point, by the way.
I was a manager. I was a shift lead. I was closing down. I was the shift lead of the factory. I was still 17 at this point, obviously, but I was a shift lead, and I was closing. It was my responsibility to get the thing closed down, get everybody out. And I was the only shift lead there at the time, I believe. Yeah. And they were all like, the girls are all up front, and they're not going to leave until you come up and say goodbye to them. Get out! Leave! I don't want to say, no. I didn't say that, but that was what was going through my mind. Instead, I was more like, and I was half smiling, because it's there's a bunch of 17 girls that are 17 girls.
There's a bunch of
if it was 17 girls, golly. Woo! Oh my gosh, bro. I'm not that hot. If there's a bunch of 17-year-old girls, and they're all you know what I mean. They're oh, yeah, we want to say goodbye to you. So it was kind of flattering, but also at the same time I was annoyed because I was trying to close down and they weren't leaving. And I was also uncomfortable because what am I going to say? So I'm whatever.
Give him a little smooch.
I guess, not the smooch.
Oh,
but
okay.
I start slowly walking up there, and I get up there and they're not there. And I was like, the frick, where the huzz at? And they left. No. I was
where the huzz at?
I was like, where did they go? And they're like, they left. Their ride showed up. And I was like, oh, phew, golly. And I was like, okay, we can all get all closed up. And as we're closing up, we're literally getting ready to leave, we hear a bang from inside the factory, from inside the trampoline park. It's just a bang, like metal on metal. And we're like, what? And so I'm like, this is so freaking stupid. I just want to get out of here. I've been here for 12 hours. And I'm like, Arlo, you come with me. And he's like, do I have to? Because he was scared out of his mind. And I was like, you're the only other guy. You come with me. And so I pull out my phone flashlight and we go walking in. All the lights are turned off. It's dark. The only light is from like the arcade machines on my flashlight. And we go walking back there to where the back door is from where we heard the noise. And it kind of sounded like the door shutting. So I go back there and I shine my light. I'm like, hey, anybody back here? Nobody was back there. What the frick? Check the door. Door's closed, locked, latched. I'm like, I don't know what happened. My thought is somebody went out. They didn't come in, but they went out. So I'm like, whatever. Go back up to the front. I'm like, nobody's in here. There's cameras, motion sensing. So if someone moves around, the cameras will call the police on them, basically. And so it'll automatically call the police. Yeah. So I was like, if they're in here and they're hiding in here, they'll come out. The cameras will go off. Police will get called. I went back there. I did my due diligence. I checked for people. Nobody is back there. So like, whatever. We go outside and I go out front and I look over and the 5 girls that had been in there are standing out in front of the factory, like over by the side where that door is that somebody went out of just a bit ago. And they're like standing over there and I walk out and I look at them and they look at me. I was like, what the frick? Why are you still here? I thought your ride got here. So I'm like, I can't leave until they leave because I'm afraid they're going to break a window or something. So I go over to them. I start walking over to them, and they're all like, oh, he's coming over. I walk over to them, and I'm like, do you guys have a ride home? Or like, are you guys going to leave? And they're like, yeah, we have a ride. It's on their way. I'm like, okay. Okay. And I like turn around and like walk back. And one of them was like, thank you. I was like, what? Anyway, get back inside, close down. Everybody goes home. Their ride shows up, takes them home. And it was like, I don't know. It was kind of like funny at first. I was like, oh my gosh, these girls like me. And then at the end of it, it's just annoying. Like they wouldn't leave. They were like, one of them stayed in past closing and like had to sneak out the door because it was closing. I don't know what their thought. I don't know what the thought process is. You're like a 17-year-old girl. You're going to wait in the dark in like a trampoline park that's closing down. Like what? Are you going to wait for me to walk by and be like, boo, and kiss me? Like what? Like
boo. I got you.
Like I don't understand what the thought process was. And then she like realized we were leaving and like ran out the door, I guess.
It's pretty funny.
It was I don't know. At the beginning it was kind of like nice, but then it was not.
The beginning was kind of
like
nice.
That's why I was literally saying this today. I'm like, girls are not direct enough a lot of the time. You can't go up to a guy and laugh in his face a lot and say like sort of like indirectly mean things to him and expect him to be like, ah, yes, she likes me. Like yes. We're kind of stupid. You can't do that to us. You have to be a little bit more direct with us. Am I wrong?
Listen, lady, yes. No.
I'm wrong?
No, you're not.
No, I'm not wrong.
They should be.
We are simple. We are direct. We want to get the job done. I don't know what I mean by that. You know what I mean, though.
No. Yeah.
Like, it's so much simpler to like. I've seen TikToks of girls that will be like, "Listen, this means we like you." Like a smile.
I don't care.
Like you look at it, like they think that if they look at a guy, half smile, look away, the guy should immediately be like, yes, she likes me.
No.
This is not the 1940s, okay? That's not the way it works anymore. If I, as a guy, see a girl look at me while smiling and I go, yes, she likes me, we're dating, and I go up to her and I try to like be like, shoot my shot with her, there's like no chance that's going to work.
I mean, hey, you should try it next time.
However, I will say, hiding in a closing down trampoline park to try to like, I don't even know. That's pretty direct.
Maybe she was trying to make out with you behind in the ball
Definitely
pit.
not.
How do you know?
There's no ball pit.
I said.
Did you say ball pit?
Yeah.
I thought you said ball pit.
I did.
There's no ball pit, so she couldn't have made out with me behind the ball pit. Behind the foam pit?
She wanted to make out in the foam pit.
Oh, snap. A couple kids did that.
What? What did you
Uh,
just say?
a couple kids did that.
There's no way.
Yeah, we would do lock-ins where kids could like stay overnight with like a big group of like up to 50 kids, I think, and it was like $1,000 to do. But anyway, you get like
$1,000?
Mhm.
It's crazy.
I know it was expensive because it sucked because you have to stay awake for 12 hours through the night.
That sounds fun.
It was bonkers.
I would do
But
it.
kids would do it and they'd invite all their friends. They'd have like a list and they'd bring like every single person that could be there, every single 50 people that could be there, and they'd be like bring all their friends, and it was dumb, but yeah, there were kids would make out in the foam pit, and there was a
Snakes in the bull pit,
okay,
the foam pit.
there was a lock-in that I was not there for. I was not working there at this point, but there was a lock-in in which my old youth pastor's daughter and some other guy in the break room. My old youth pastor's daughter, I believe, used to work there. And they did that in the break room, on the break room couch, which they had to replace after that.
Replace.
Yeah, I'm not sitting on that couch after that happens. That's so gross. I don't know what fluids are on there. Disgusting. Yuck. But yeah, we would find fireballs in the foam pit, like whiskey bottles. We'd find
How did you find out about them?
we'd find vapes. What?
How did you find out about them?
The work stories. People would tell me about it.
No, but like, how do they find them?
They caught them.
In the middle of
I'm
it?
guessing.
That's crazy.
I'm guessing someone walked into the break room while they were doing it and then was like, "Oh no," and like walked out and told
Was it
somebody.
Granny?
Granny? You're just like this old lady who's, for whatever reason, she's at this group of teenagers having a lock-in. There's not supposed to be any adult supervision other than the workers that are working there. Granny walks in. What's going on in the break room? Oh no! Has a heart attack.
Get out, Granny, before I put a donut in your head!
You are not a member of a gang. You will not be turning Granny's head into a donut. You will not.
Oh my gosh. Me and my cousin Seth was texting my grandma a bunch of like gang stuff. Sort of.
He showed me the
It was
text. It was very
amazing.
funny.
It was amazing.
It was very funny.
It was so funny. Let me see. Hold on a second. 2 seconds here.
2 seconds here. You're gonna show the camera?
No, I'm just gonna
Oh.
say it. Okay. My cousin Seth said, "What day for the zoo?" And I said, "What if we go tomorrow?" And then my grandma said, "I'll get back to you in just a little bit, okay?" And he said, "Nah, for real on the gang." And she said, "Okay, Seth, I have no idea what you said. Your texting is worse than mine, but it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. Is there a reason why you can't go to next Tuesday is?" And I said, "Nah, little homie, I should be able to for real on gang, but I was just seeing if we can go tomorrow, for real." And she said, "Let's stick with the plan, man, and go next week, okay?" And my cousin said, "Whatever you say, Unc. Nah, for real, dead homies can't be dissing us like that." And she said, "Unc, space, question mark." And he said, "We really up the switch, twin." And she sent the emoji. And I said, "Yeah, you better not play with us, twin. You just an Unc. We on the up and you on the down low, little homie. Matter of fact, on my dead homies, you an up. I'll pull up with a switch on your bit and start popping." And he said, "Ma, for real, twin. I'll pull up with a scat pack with a Gen 5 with a switch, gang. I'll put a switch on your ass, little twin."
Makes no sense.
And she said, "Oh, you guys are just making things up." And he said, "Nah, gang, put this through ChatGPT on dead homies. He finna let the unks know what we really talking about." And I said, "Yeah, twin, we know what we talking about because we run these streets, lil' homie. And I'm finna pull up with a scat pack too. Be careful what you talking about, lil' granny." And he said, "Nah, for real, on gang, on them knows, on them space, knows what he talking about because we really this bit, gang." And this is the funniest part. I said, for real, gang, ain't no cap in this bit. In A's, in words. It's just the ninja emoji.
Oh.
Always be capping. Not us, fool. I will straight up make Granny head into a donut with this switch, fool. And she said, no, you're not. In a gang, you're not going to make Granny's head into a donut. And she said, the elf, and she said, and it says, no, you're not. And she says,
oh my
hey,
God.
FN, don't be testing us, gang. We really switching as in the dirt, twin.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That is pretty funny.
It was pretty great. I'll make Granny's head into a donut. You are not in a gang.
You are not in a gang. You are not going to make
Granny's
Granny's head into a donut. You are not.
You are not.
Well,
No.
those were some crazy work stories.
That was pretty great.
Those were some crazy work stories.
I have another one.
You have one more. Let's wrap it up after this one.
This was not necessarily really super duper crazy, but at my new work, I'm a server, or I wasn't at this time, but anyway, two of the servers, apparently they were arguing or whatever, and they were like full on. This was after everybody's left, and they were cleaning up. They were full on like yelling at each other, and this one girl was like, "I'm gonna fight you,"
Dang.
this and that and whatnot, and they were like yelling at each other, and they were going crazy. And then Dan had to pull them aside and take them outside and talk to them individually. And after that, they still weren't friends.
Oh my
And
gosh.
They stopped scheduling one of them. They stopped scheduling them together, and then one of them just got fired because, oh my gosh, this is what happened. So there was an older girl that worked there and a younger girl that worked there, and the older girl, I think that was the end of that story pretty much. They just yelled at each other. I got ahead of myself. They yelled at each other, and like, I'll fight you and all this and that and that. And when they came back inside, we asked the person who was more willing to talk, which is like more the friendly one, why
She the older
what
one or the
happened?
younger one?
The younger one.
Okay.
Well, the younger one. And yeah, we asked her what was wrong or whatever, or what happened, and basically she said that like she never wants to do what she wants to. She never wants to do what she's supposed to do and help clean and do the tables and whatnot. She just wants to get her tips and leave, which is valid. So she's like, no, you're not basically doing this time. You got to help me clean. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's why they started the argument. But another person, the same older girl but a different younger girl. The older girl got to work and the younger girl got to work, but the older girl made the younger girl leave and take her cat to the vet while she stayed in work because she wanted to make more money.
What?
Apparently, is what everybody said. So she like made her leave, forced her to leave, and take her cat to the vet. I don't know if she paid for it or not.
What?
But and then she stayed and whatnot. But then she got fired after that.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's some
I
craziness.
have one other short one.
Okay.
I don't know too much about it, but apparently there was these two girls that used to work at the restaurant, but they got into a fight with another girl in the back parking lot and was like taking this girl and pulling her by her hair across the parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
And everything, and it was crazy. That's pretty much everybody said. And yeah. So then Dan came out there and was like, "What's happened?" Blah blah blah. And they're like, "Oh no, I'll beat this B word up." Blah 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 blah.
Oh.
This B word, blah blah blah. And she's like, "Okay." And he was like, "Okay, we need to stop and talk about this and whatever, and we can keep all your jobs or something like that." And he said, "No, if she's still working here, I'm leaving." And he said, "Are you really?" He said, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, I had to stick up for the person who's getting beat up." So then he took her side, and then they both left.
Dang.
So that was pretty much it.
That is crazy.
That is quite crazy.
Craziness.
So that is the end of the episode.
Yes.
Thank for watching.
Yes, sir.
And the end question: will you turn your granny's head into a donut with a switch? If you know what you're talking about.
And are you a gang?
And do you have any crazy work stories?
Are you in a gang?
Are you in a gang? And if you are, I want to message back and say, no, you not, and no, you're not going to turn.
You're not finna turn Granny's head into a donut.
And if you have any work stories, put them in the terramas barro. And that's
What?
it.
Alrighty.
That's what it is.
All right. Ah!